What's going on, guys? Bruce Matz here, your host show of Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and I'm here to drop my top 40 wide receivers for week 3. It's about waiver wire time. It's about time to do those pickups. It's about time for us to look forward to set those lineups, and I'm here to help you guys out. I have my running backs in the archives. I just dropped those, a top 40 for the running backs. About to do the wide receivers right now. If that's something you're into, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on any more episodes, because I'm doing this every week throughout the season. But let's get started. Let's hop on these wide receivers and give it a good look here. We're going to start things off with the over-unders. We really want to look at the implied point totals to see which games are expected to be more explosive and which games are expected to be slower. I got these numbers from oddshark.com, and these are an average from a bunch of books. I put this together earlier today, so some of these numbers could have changed. That being said, we're just looking at these to try and predict which games are just supposed to be higher scoring than the other games, and just go from there. Of course, some of these may bust, and some of these might do better than expected. That's just how things run in the NFL. Make sure you hit a screenshot of this or take a picture of it. That way you have it with you when you set your lineups, especially for wide receivers. If I have 2 wide receivers I'm close to, one thing I like to look at is the spread and the over-under. So if this one guy's in a really good matchup, 54 over-under, and this other guy's in an over-under of like 42, I got a better chance in a higher scoring game than a game that's lower scoring. So if I'm close on these 2 guys, then I'm going with the higher scoring game. That's just what I do. That's been part of my process. It works out probably about 60% of the time or whatever. That's just how I like to do things. Moving forward for the rankings this week, top 10 here on the wide receivers. Justin Jefferson's been my number 1 every week. Cooper Kupp's been my number 2 every week. Good matchups, as always, because these guys are in offenses that produce and are high-powered. Stephon Diggs, high target share guy, 54 over-under against Miami. Should expect him to always get targets. A.J. Brown's a target hog as well. Good matchup, good over-under. Things you want to talk about here is Waddle and Hill. These guys are explosive. Miami, Tua are connecting well with him. Hill gets a lot of the targets, a higher target share, while Waddle's so explosive you can't ignore him. Jamar Chase and Brown. Chase is explosive, gets target share. Not the greatest matchup against the Jets, but you can't rank him too low either. Amon-Ra St. Brown has really earned his stripes. Goff loves to target him. They're going to be in dogfights all year. High over-under. You can't rank him outside the top 10 unless you're playing scared. Michael Pittman, if he's back, I'm pretty sure he's going to be back since he was late, scratch or whatever due to the injury. 49.5 over-under. Pittman in a Chiefs game, you're going to want to start him. Debo is going to get touches out of the backfield and targets. Low over-under, not a sexy matchup, but he performs in not-so-sexy matchups. So that's Debo Samuel for you. Next 10, 11 to 20. I'm not really in love here, but that's why we're getting deeper into the rankings. Cortland Sutton, deep targets, decent target share, over-under against San Fran. T. Higgins is a wide receiver 1 with a wide receiver 1. Decent matchup, not the greatest, but the targets will be there. Cincinnati's going to eventually really start clicking sometime, like last year. Mike Williams, going to get targets. Is Keenan Allen in? Is he out? What's going on with him? Mike Williams is probably going to be a big factor in the offense. Christian Kirk's been bumping up the rankings here because he is getting a good target share, showing production in a good matchup. Drake London has earned his stripes. High target share, high numbers, 12 targets last week. Lower volume game here. Some ambiguity. Wide receiver 15, though. So your wide receiver 2, a lot of people are going to want to start him as their wide receiver 2 anyways. Michael Thomas has been doing well. He's been getting targets. He has been getting in the end zone. Low over under, but he's at wide receiver 16. Brandon Cook's not the sexiest guy, but gets targets and air yards. Deontay Johnson's not in the greatest matchup or to have him bumped higher, but let's see what happens with him. Marquise Brown, I might be sleeping on him, but I'm not in love with Arizona right now. Good over-under. Brown getting those deep targets makes him a sexier option. Rashad Bateman at 20. Lower volume game here at New England on the road. He's been kind of touchdown dependent. He had those 2 big touchdowns. Take those away, and it's scary. I promise you, that's scary. But he didn't earn those. It did happen. We need more volume in the passing game for us to feel good. If he was getting that volume, he'd be jacked up there. He'd probably be a top 10 dude. But he's scoring. He's doing well. However, I want to see a little bit more. I want to see some consistency with some volume on the targets. Moving on, 21-30. CeeDee Lamb, pretty much because he's getting the targets, but I'm not in love with it. He's getting a lot of this. It's still working out, though. Gabe Davis, if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, just scratch him off the list. DJ Moore. Oh, DJ Moore is hurting us a lot. Target share, everything. We need him to step up a little bit. DK Metcalf's explosive. You can't have him ranked too low. Terry McLaurin's eventually going to get his. We're in a good over-under at 47. I like him this week as well. Amari Cooper had a good week last week. Low over-under. Could be a low-volume game. However, if it's his game, if it's his target share game, he could produce for us. Allen Robinson, it doesn't look like he's living up to expectations, but he's good enough to maybe give us some production, especially if he can get some goal line targets. But it's the Cooper Kupp show here in LA. Curtis Samuel's been blowing up. There's a lot to go around here in Washington, but I feel like he's a big piece, a cheap asset still in redraft. Garrett Wilson, I want to rank him higher. I feel like I can, but it's hard to do. I feel like he's sleeping here. I bumped him up compared to a lot of other people who are doing weekly rankings. I'm actually kind of bullish on Garrett Wilson at 29, but I feel like it's too low. The over-under is kind of low. Cincinnati's kind of iffy matchup. I want to see more, but I think I've seen enough talent-wise from Garrett Wilson that I feel like I'm good with him. Darnell Mooney, target share, air yards. I need this Bears team to be more explosive. I just need it to happen. I want it to click. I need it to click. I saw it last year. I saw it in preseason. I saw it training camp. I want to see it in real games with Darnell Mooney. Here we go, 31-40. We're going to finish this up here. Tyler Lockett had a big game last week. Seattle's surprising me with the passing volume. Could happen here. Could hit the over in this game as well. Adam Thielen in a good matchup with Detroit. Jacoby Myers getting target share and air yards. He is the alpha in New England. If he gets goal line looks, could have some big weeks. Juju bumped down. He was bumped up last week. Good matchup. Okay matchup this week. But he's bumped down to 34 because you can't trust him. Hunter Renfrow could be a sneaky guy. I was surprised he out-targeted Davante Adams. I'm expecting Davante Adams to do more. But Davante Adams is a stud. 30% target share. Always a top 5 guy. Hunter, though, is probably going to have a couple more games of good volume. Josh Palmer, what's going on with Keenan Allen? That's going to be a big thing. I should expect a little bit more volume. I just need him to do something with it. Elijah Moore, it's Garrett Wilson show. Those nerds with the calculators and spreadsheets trying to talk up Elijah Moore this offseason. I tried to a little bit, but I wasn't as hardcore on it. It's the Garrett Wilson show. Treylon Burks, Jahan Dotson, 2 rookies with huge upside. Jahan Dotson, I need more targets. I need more volume. Treylon Burks is about to hit it because he's getting volume and he can get you stuff off the yak, those yards after the catch, and he's dangerous with the ball in his hands due to that size-adjusted athleticism. But that's my top 40. I'll hammer this down again when I do the tiers and rankings later this week. We'll have a little bit of fun with that. But let me know in the comments which wide receivers you're starting this week. Is there anybody outside this top 40 that you're starting over these guys? There probably is. Once you get to like the 35 range, maybe 31 range, it's a crapshoot from there. It really is. Like, you're really just throwing darts. So I don't disagree with you if you have somebody else you want to move in there. Also, if there's someone I missed, let me know because I probably did. Injuries have been making these rankings harder to do because you get the list of players and it's more ambiguous because guys who have been hurt get knocked down, you got to find them. That makes it hard. But here it is, top 40 for right now. We'll redo this and do the tiers here in the next day or so to help you out for your rankings. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Helps you out for your fantasy teams and helps me out on my channel. But I want to thank you again. I'll catch you on the next vid.